What up, y'all? Back for another audio occasion. It is the podcast for self-starters and those willing to make the most out of any situation. The EFS Podcast is back. New drop for y'all. Let's get it.
EFS Podcast for self-starters and those willing to make the most out of any situation.
Thanks for coming to join. On the way in, our leading audio is going to be a piece of information to those of you who may be in a space and a realm that might need it. But here it goes.
90 pieces of content right now. First, we need 30 ideas. We're gonna break it up into 10. 10 ideas are for the fresh meat audience. People who are new to you, people who are new to your industry, people who just discovered Omar or just discovered me or whoever's out there watching. That's the first 10. The next 10 is nurturing, implementation. What can you give them to actually implement today? So therefore, after 24 hours of watching your piece of content, they can actually do something for themselves. Yep. And then the last one is give them a little taste of what it's like to work with you. How do you get certain results? For me, I have this series where I say, I took this video and this video, this one got X amount of views, this one got X amount, and this is how many sales it generated me. Here's what changed between both of them. Give them a little taste of what it's like working with you. So that's 30 right there. Where the 90 comes from is you want to execute on every idea 3 different ways.
Take notes.
Really so the first way, talking head. Just get the information out. The second way is a green screen. You want to find articles, whatever you can to get your point across. This is where you can go visual heavy. And then the last 30 to make the 90, I would recommend you find an authority that is in your space that has already proven your concept, and then you stitch or react to their video and you talk about how they've been using what you like, a principle that you share all the time.
Fire, good leading audio, man.
You sent me that one, so I'm gonna give you love on the leading audio. I ain't gonna act like I found it by myself. That was a Waldo.
I was gonna let you rock. Yeah,
I'm all facts.
We together,
I'm gonna
man.
give credit where it's due. So
I
to all the
appreciate
content creators, all the people that are out there, trying to work themselves into a better position on the engagement side, all that good shit is something for y'all on that one today.
Facts.
Shouts to y'all. But as always, let my theme music run. How many air horns should we go on the way in?
At least 3.
At least 3?
Yeah. Maybe 3 more, yeah. There you go.
Let's get it,
EFS
y'all.
family.
EFS Podcast is back. Round of applause. Good gang back in the house. And if you've made it to the audio/visual, please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Once again, if you've made it to the audio/visual, please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the buttons, hit the bells, all that good shit. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We love the love over here at the EFS Podcast. So, with that said, I'm your host, D. Burke, the man, the myth, Mr. EFS himself, from the biggest brand that you don't know about yet.
Yes, sir.
Mr. 1% 2 times. In the house with me is my man, the bro, the guy, the artist, the entertainer, the visionary.
Hey, come on, man.
Mr. Waldo Black.
Just a humble guy, man. That's all out there. You know what I mean?
Of course,
Waldo
but sometimes
to
your friends got to come to you, come to rescue you in a time of need when it comes to just, putting your name out there and all that other shit. But
appreciate it.
With that said, man, we are here. We got episode number 60 on deck
crazy.
in the house today.
60 episodes, man. We gave y'all a lot of content out here, EFS family.
Oh, that's a fact.
Make sure you're connecting with us, man. Make sure you reach out. If there's topics you want us to cover, if there's things you want us to kind of share our perspective on, don't be shy. DM us, hit us up. You know what I mean? Comment on under our posts. We got stuff for you, man.
Facts
Just
on
let
facts.
us know. Connect, man. We here for y'all.
Facts.
But,
you saying comments just triggered me for a second.
well, we're going to talk about it.
Let my theme music fade out, man. But yeah, a lot of things to discuss today. So
Facts.
basic check-ins on the way in. How we doing? How we feeling, my boy? He was out there outside last night.
Man, let me tell you.
Pun intended for the pre-pod. If you didn't check that out.
If you check the pre-pod, I was, I was talking earlier, I was outside. But I can go expound a little bit more. Man, you remember there's a meme on TikTok of these old ladies, and they was talking, we had a time last night.
Yeah.
We had a time last night.
Yeah, I used that one after my first gala. That was the time.
Bruh, I'm going to tell you, it was crazy. I got to, shouts to my brother, Shorts, you know what I'm saying? Shouts to the whole Dear Summer family, you know what I'm saying? Delano, Green Gates, Harlem, New York, did it up big. 15th year of the annual Dear Summer Festival, New York City.
15 years is going on?
15 years, man.
That's a long time.
A testament of what consistency and discipline will get you. Over 9,000 people flooded Brooklyn to enjoy festivities, to share in Black excellence, to just be a part of what's now becoming a cultural phenomenon, that is unlike anything else.
That's high praise.
You know what I'm saying? It's unlike anything else. If you haven't done nothing in your life, you should definitely go do a Deer Summer festival. One of them, Atlanta, Houston, DC, New York. Just go to one. It's a different vibe.
I like the traveling festival thing.
Yeah, man.
You know, it's cool. I like the whole, you know,
and it's
one
nothing,
group
it's
doing the same
like
party kind of vibe in different places.
But it's nothing like it, because I tell you what, there's VIP sections and all that too, but the food, fire. They vet the food vendors, so it's not like some random person just pulling up with the food. It's like something you can trust and get behind every time. And then you have that combined with obviously fire DJs. There's not no dude that just do weddings and plays, you know, drop the floor, get you know, wobble baby. No, it's not them. You know what I'm saying? It's actual people that know how to keep the party lit. And then you see people that really want to come out and have a good time. You know what I'm saying? They make sure they got their babysitter. You know what I mean? But it's not. It's
an all-day affair.
It literally is. It's all-day affair. It goes to like 11 o'clock at night.
Pop out, right?
4 to 11. Like, it's all night long. It's all day long. And not only that, it's for people that are grown. Like, I'm gonna say this, like, you got to be at least 25 and ready to thrive. You got to be, if you in your 30s, you down to get flirty. You know what I'm saying? If you got to be under 50 to get shifty. You feel me? Like, it's a certain group. You know what I'm saying? It's not just grown. It's grown and sophisticated. It's no issues, no fighting, no young folks bumping into you, stepping on your shoes. It's like we came to show how these young folks don't know how to do it, how we do it. You know what I'm saying? And it's 90s, 2000s, 2010s, good music, all the hits, even a couple from today, but it's mixed in really well. And it's like, after you sit back and you go, man, where else can I really enjoy myself and have a blast like this? It's very few places. The scene is limited. So
I mean, it is. There are places, but they're few and far between for the group the demographic that you're speaking about, which is, you know, the 30s, the 40s, those kind of people.
I'm saying, like, I mean,
want to enjoy
you
life
could be
in a
26,
way.
27 and still have a phenomenal
No, for sure,
time.
no doubt. But that crowd, that age group, is usually looking for a different thing.
Facts
that you've already experienced when you get to that age. You know,
now they got hookah, they got everything there. It's literally fire.
For sure, no doubt. But
I'll do it again, man. I'll do it again. I might do it again in DC. I might go back.
I mean, listen, just pop out everywhere.
Exactly. Summertime, baby.
Nah, that's what's up, though.
But I sing my praises. That's all I wanted to do. You know, EFS family, go ahead, check it out if you want to.
You saw Jim Jones out there?
Jim Jones was out there performing. We stay high, alive, we bowling, and doing the same thing he's been doing.
So the reception for Jim was cool.
Nah, he was in hometown. He had home court advantage.
I mean, this is true.
Yeah, so it was fire. Everybody did the bowling. He was, you know what I mean? He did one other song. I forgot the song he did. It was 2 songs. It was just a 2-song joint he did. Because Meek Mill was the real actual headliner of the performance. And Meek did all, you know, Dreaming Nightmares.
Used to pray for times like this. In New York. He was at Summer Jam on Friday, I think. Summer Jam on Friday.
Yeah, Friday, and then Dear Summer on Saturday.
But New York been had love for, you know, for Meek. So that's
if you from a hood, you definitely respect and appreciate Meek, because you know his journey was crazy. But it was a good time. Valiant too was out there for the Caribbean folk.
But back on Jim, because that's where we going. You try to skate off on that one, like you ain't see where I was trying to lead you.
I seen you when you was trying. I was trying to lead away. You know what I mean?
No. We're gonna stay right there.
Go ahead. Go off, bro. Go off.
I mean, it's not a go off. I got a lot of love for Jim, and you know, from the historical, you know, rap career of the Diplomats to the impact, the effect that they've had on New York City culture. As a New York guy myself, tried and true, and as a, you know, person who's seen the impact of that float across the nation, even overseas. Like I, you know, been overseas in people's houses, cribs, and they playing Dipset, you know, and they, you know, repping for the city, like that kind of shit out in Europe, you know. So Dipset's reach is very big, and Jim was a very integral part of that. And Jim's solo career is nothing to turn your nose up as well, you know, multiple albums, singles, all that, you know, and then just the cultural grip that he has on the new generation, clearly. But you know, Jim versus Nas, because that's do we want to share our take on that real quick? Because that's been all all across the timelines and all across the waves of the internet.
And you gotta understand, like, sometimes when you in life, you have to be delusional to be successful. You gotta think of yourself in a stratosphere that's unlike anything else, right? I do believe that Jim believes he is that fire and that good and that talented.
I'm not asking if he believe it. I'm asking what you believe.
I believe that Jim Jones doesn't understand what it means to be more talented than another person. He went with, initially he said something about the numbers, and he found out he was wrong about the numbers.
Yeah, I mean,
and
that wasn't long or hard to find at all.
It wasn't hard to find at all, but
that made its way around the internet very quickly.
Being confident in your ability, there's nothing wrong with that. I just think he doesn't understand that your ability to do something doesn't necessarily match up against someone else's proven stats of doing something. You can have the ability all day. Nah, I'm able to run really, really fast. All right, cool. But this dude has the gold medals to prove he's fast. You don't have those. So even in you getting in a conversation where you're trying to say how fast you are, that's cool, bro. I'm not saying you're not fast. But you can't say you run faster than the Olympic gold medalist who's proven it time and time again. And I think that's where I think Jim Jones is, and this is something that I think a lot of people don't understand. Like, when you are in a stratosphere where you are super successful, you supposed to think like you playing ball. Like, I'm not. I could go up toe to toe with them. I'll wax him on. You know what I'm saying? Like, on the court, you're supposed to have that. I love that energy from Jim, because I want him to go into it. I want him to still have the hunger. A lot of these cats, when they get to a certain age, they kind of like, they start, sipping the Geritol, the Centrum. They put the feety pajamas on and they say, I'm done in the rap game. It's over. You know what I'm saying? How many old rappers that they just sit down and then I don't do no rap no more? When the last time you heard a Jay-Z verse, right? Now, no shots at Jay, but I'm just saying, it's like, after a certain point, a lot of these rappers are like putting themselves to bed. And I'm like, yo, you still talented. You still got ability. I loved hearing the Cam and them. They did the rap drink for the Knicks, and so did the Locks. And they did a little freestyle. I'm like, damn, that's what I want to see. Like, y'all are pillars of the rap.
Just put an album out recently, too.
That's what I'm saying.
Church Step, so good album. Like,
I want that.
Good album.
I want that, like. And honestly, we've talking about Jim now. It worked. Even if it was misguided, he's manipulated us to even have him in the conversation, and which is exactly what he was trying to do.
That's where it is for me. Like, that's where it is for me. Like, we got to look at Jim as a marketer,
businessman.
We got to look at Jim as a marketer. Jim has been vocal recently that he's trying to play the marketing game. He sat down on one of the pods and was talking about how, you got to be lit to get your name out and promote your business, promote your brand, promote your whatever. So being in a talkative conversation, somehow you can monetize. So, do I believe Jim can look at his career and Nas's career and then really say that I'm better than Nas in that way? No. I think it's apples to oranges as far as what you like as a person,
right.
But when you're putting both up against each other in a historical context of what one has done versus what the other's done, come on, man. Nas is smoking Jim's booth. And again, there's no shitting on Jim because I fuck with Jim. And, I love a lot of Jim albums. A few of them I go to every now and again, and I got songs on my overall collective playlist. A few of them from Jim. So I respect Jim's career. And I respect the fact that he's made himself a better artist ever since he was with Dipset and with Cam and with that group, and, Cam being the star, Jewel's being the next real star, and then everyone looking at Jim like you just the guy in the background, who raps a little bit, but, now he's the only one with a really active rapping career still, versus those
after
other
all
two,
the craziness shit.
And has increased his ability to be a rapper, a songwriter, lyricist, all that other stuff. So I do respect that part of it, making himself a staple in the game for that long. But come on, man. This is Nas we talking about. This is Nas.
Yeah.
Nas is on most days and most conversation, everyone's top 10. In my conversation, top 5 easily. So, You know, I'm not even going to get into the numbering of all
Yeah,
that other
I'm not
shit,
putting
but
that on
Nas
there.
is hands down my top 5, and this is not even biased. This is just literally, this man is a better overall rapper than you are, and he has the stats to back it up. And there's nothing wrong with being confident. I'm all for that, man. I'm all for that. But I do think he's trolling a little bit to keep his name out.
Right.
And I thought he was trolling even more after I saw the interaction he had with Shannon Sharp, because he did the nightcap
I
with
seen
Shannon
that
Sharp
too.
and Ocho. Like
Yeah.
that whole back and forth, that's when I knew a little bit of it was trolling.
It's
you know?
it's getting his name in the news cycle.
Facts.
And he's masterfully
Facts.
manipulating
Because
people.
he's milking it.
Yeah, he's milking it now.
You get your name, and
You
this
gotta
all really
say
started because
something.
of a kid. Well, not a kid. Young man. He's 22, 23. I don't know if you've seen the original clip that started this whole
I
thing.
did not.
The original clip was a young man who was 23 or 22 again, speaking about how Jim Jones was better than Nas. But he was speaking about it from a context of like, yo, Jim Jones, he's like a fashion icon. He's like a cultural, one of the people that we looked at coming up, et cetera, like that. And basically treated it like Nas was just so old that he never really connected with them. So I do understand the youth
interesting.
perspective of it.
Interesting.
And it's out there, and it wouldn't be hard to find. You got to just type
22,
Jim
23.
Jones versus Nas.
Yeah, I mean,
and,
I'm like,
he's young.
You don't have
But even
no
the kid that was
context, bruh.
speaking is too young to even really appreciate Jim's whole shit, because Ballin' was really Jim's one of his biggest singles, and that shit came out at a time when that young homeboy was under 10 years old.
You're not even alive.
So it's like
to
you're not really,
understand.
you're just going off of like what the wave looks like and not really understanding.
The song you played on the pre-pod, please check the pre-pod if you have
Facts. Nas, If I Rule the World. One
Exactly.
of Nas's top best singles of all
That's
time.
29 years ago.
Facts. No
So
doubt.
he's not even aware of the music.
To the point when I first heard that song, it didn't resonate with me the way it does now as an older adult man, and I even respected it back then, because Nas, again, is one of my tops all the time. Like, all the time.
Doesn't
In any
make
decade,
sense.
any era, Nas is one of those niggas, and still is now, because when he does make music, he's very rich and very successful now. Like you said, he's not maybe sipping Similac or anything like that, because he has been active within the past 5 years about putting out albums.
Right.
Him and Hit Boy, the KD, the King's Disease album series, like fire. And even those albums is kind of shitting on a lot of the things Jim's put out recently. Not even shitting on to say like Jim shit is
No,
trash.
we know what he's
but
saying. We know what
the
he's saying.
level of like musicality, musicianship,
The
lyricism,
technical rap ability.
exactly,
Like,
and
that's
the
what he's
technical rap
saying.
ability and all that
It's-
stuff to me
it's
is
not
like
even
it
a
doesn't.
conversation.
It's out. And Jim has been compared to Styles P recently too, who's another one of my top 5 rappers easily.
Oh, I
And
mean,
that one was a whole thing to
That's a
say.
hard one to say right
People
there.
can put that closer, but to me, it's not even close still, because of Styles P as
Styles
a
is fire.
lyrical
Yeah, Styles
artist,
is fire,
and
but-
then Styles' position of like Jim is this and he's great at that, but I do this and I do it at a very high level, So again, it's different. So again, no disrespect to Jim, because I don't want to make it a Jim trashing session, because I do believe that he has a level of confidence about himself
Yeah, you
that
gotta have
again
that.
it brings attention, and that can be once again monetized to your benefit when you know how to do it properly. So shouts to that, but Jim, let's
I think
pump the brakes a little bit on that.
Jim versus Cam is a better discussion than Jim versus Nas.
Right now, yeah,
Because I think Cam doesn't even have as many #1 singles as Jim does.
I don't know the side-by-side comparison, but I would say Jim is a lot closer to being better than Cam is than he is better than Nas. And there's no shade to Cam either. But
Interesting.
Jim has also displayed a longer career of being active than Cam
Yeah.
has.
Well, Cam got his
Cam
podcast
started
money.
earlier, Jim started later, so it might be around the same time
Yeah.
overall-wise. I'm just spitballing, so don't kill me if it's not the exact. But I know Jim wasn't rapping until Cam had been rapping for a while, and Cam stopped really rapping as Jim started to rap a lot more.
Facts, but
Because Cam's
it's
focused on
they're
being a sports
they're
commentator
different,
now.
Like they're like different types of fruits of the same class, like a clementine versus
That's
an
what I
orange.
said. It's apples to oranges, and all that shit is cool, and it makes for great conversation, I guess. But to me, when you start listening to people under a certain decade, when it comes
know,
to music
right?
opinions, you got to
Musical
understand who you're
opinions,
talking
like,
to.
they're not even like
like
they still listening to like today's artists, man. No
Yeah.
shots to today's artists, but I'm
No
not
doubt.
comparing Nas to Finesse 2 times. You know what I'm saying? It's just not
right.
how do you even
Or the A Boogies and
Yeah.
that's for y'all and that's
Yeah.
cool. Like some of that shit is
Boss Man,
makes its
D-Lo,
way into my
anybody else, man. Come on, man. It's not a conversation
Yeah,
we can
nah.
really have. It doesn't make sense. So enjoy your music, sit back, relax, and then when you want to have a
No
technical skill set conversation about the rapping, Lead that to the folks that
not even a technical skill set. Yes, that.
Yeah.
But
I'm
also,
like,
when you're that young, you can't have a conversation about some things that were from that much more before your time.
you can have it, but it's not gonna sound.
It's going to sound crazy to people that were actually there and experiencing was in those moments to have those that music in a time where it felt different because it was current. Like
Facts.
You looking back at something and saying like this is better than this is a whole different story than the people who
living it.
Oh, I went to the CD store to pick at this when
Facts.
like that kind of generational gap just leads to a different conversation, which is fine. Kids enjoy your shit. But just try not to speak about things in a very matter of factly way. When
I feel like that happens every day with the league. I feel like the league is the same way. I mean, they do comparisons. That's the whole "don't the '90s" conversation.
That's true too.
They shit on the past errors like it doesn't mean nothing. That is
true too. And that dude, I don't even know where he at now.
I don't know either.
It's quiet for him. It got old for that shit quickly.
It did.
It got old.
I just look at music and how they run parallel to everything that's going on, whether it's society, whether it's sports, whether it's music. All of it's kind of like you can see the tracks running at the same time. And I just feel like we gonna get to a point where everyone's gonna have a dog shit opinion about something that doesn't really mean anything. Like, thank you for sharing your random, because they just want extra clicks and views. I feel like that's what it's all about now. Not whether or not you are really giving an analytical take on something. You just want to just say something wild and crazy, like you're better than Nas, Jim Jones, just to get the eyes. You want the eyes. You want the views. You want the conversation, and we feed into it because again, it's the hot topic of the day or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's
it's marketing. So I understand it now, and I understand it even more from being in the position where you got to promote yourself. So I respect promoting yourself, but when it comes to I'm not gonna say as a trainer or as whatever I offer I'm better than somebody who's been knocking it out the park for decades and decades. So I stay in my lane, but I also am confident enough to stand on my own to what I'm able to do without making it a comparison that's way off base. And that's that. But again, no shade to Jim on that. Just we know what it is. I know what it is, I feel like. I think it's just a little bit of troll action and it'll blow over.
Trolling.
And hopefully make a bag off it. Because if he's doing it for that reason, then hey, hopefully he's seeing some kind of financial return off the attention.
Oh yeah, he's not moving without making some bread.
So
speaking of moving and making bread though, what's up with your boy KD?
Houston Rockets. Just dropped today, so I'm still processing everything live. I ain't see it until just before I was coming over here.
Yeah.
So, saw the details on it. KD to the Houston Rockets for
thoughts.
Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green. From what I'm seeing, it's supposed to be a pit stop for Jalen Green because it's supposed to be moving him again somewhere.
Dang.
Yeah, so he may not be there for long from what I understand. But
you would think that Suns could use Jalen, though. I mean,
yes and no. I think that it might be a situation to where they know Jalen's not going to want to be in that position. I haven't checked Jalen's contract either or when it's up because, again, I've just saw this pretty much right before I came over here. So I don't know when Jalen's contract is up, because you'd want to keep a young player like that for a long time if you're bringing him into your roster. But I think they are also caught up in the whole Bradley Beal shit. Like, they can't move Bradley Beal. So I think that creates a different market for who they can go get and attract. But
that's crazy.
I don't know. They say it's a pit stop for Jalen Green, but they got Dylan Brooks and draft picks. And
some picks. All right.
Yeah.
So Suns might be in a position. They might be in a position to make a nice little run. If
the Houston Rockets might be in a position to win the title next year. Is my opinion.
I don't put that much pressure on new factions being formed.
I'm not. This is we're looking on paper. You got Fred VanVleet. You got KD.
Good 3-point perimeter shooting.
You still kept the twin.
You lost your Jalen. You got Alperen Sengun.
You still kept their bigs. Alperen Sengun is one of the better centers in the league.
He is.
I think they re-signed Steven Adams too.
Okay. See, so you got a bench, good bench.
You got bigs. You got scorers.
You lost a defender with Dylan Brooks though.
But the twin, Amin or Amir, I forget which one plays for the Rockets. But
Amin.
Yeah. One of the better wing defenders as a young defender in the league.
He's a good defender, but he can't carry both loads offensively and defensively.
Neither can Dylan Brooks.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, if he's gonna wear the shoulders. You got KD now, so you can defer.
Facts.
And let him kind of run the offense and let young cats do their job.
I think that's the top 4 in the West roster for sure next season.
Jayshawn Tate,
because Ime Udoka's been doing a hell of a job with that team since he got there, as far as building them up and year by year getting a little bit better to now where they made noise this last year in the Western Conference. Playoffs didn't go the way they wanted it to, but, only 2 teams going to make it to the Western Conference final. And the West is a dogfight, so they're trying to position themselves.
It's not enough to me. You still need two or three pieces.
They need pieces, but I don't think they've done either. Like, this is the first big move of the summer, and the draft ain't even happened yet. So when the draft comes around, things are going to get even shakier. The whole NBA free agency and, no more Woj bombs, but the Shams bombs or whatever they call them now is going to be going off.
I see, but I will be seeing soon. But what I was going to say is, you think about the way the structure is, it's really going to decide who wins the finals. Whatever team wins, usually the league mimics whatever the winning team has put together. So if it's, just by looking at what's in place right now, you can have that superstar player, that's the KD to the SGA, right? But you got to have the pieces around, the defenders, like, you know what I mean?
They got pieces. They need a couple more pieces, I think.
Like Caruso. Like,
they need shooting, and I think they need one more.
To me, they don't have a shooting big. Sengun is cool, but he doesn't do any. To me, he's not a perimeter threat.
True,
and then
but do you need that nowadays with the style of basketball that
if you're going up against OKC or you're going up against
Chet is streaky, so I wouldn't call him a shooting big.
You don't call him a shooting big.
He shoots the ball. I wouldn't call him a shooter by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay, I would put him in that classification.
No, the numbers ain't high enough. He's too streaky. He goes cold, and I know shooters miss shots, but
there's some nights when he takes the lead as the offensive
maybe
weapon,
a quarter or two. Shea don't average 30 for multiple years in a row now if he's not the number one offensive option on most nights.
I also believe because he does that, it's hard for other players to get that streak that they need.
It's levels.
The flow and
it's levels. Yeah. You got this and you got that. Like, who you gonna get the ball to more? Shea, easily.
Of course, I'm gonna give it to Shea.
But
I'm saying in comparison, team wise, we're looking at again Indiana Pacers, where you got Pascal Siakam, who can kind of be a big if you need him to be a big. He kind of flows in and out whether you're gonna put that, but he shoots the 3 too.
Shoots the 3. I wouldn't call him a shooter either. But,
really? You don't call him a shooter?
He can shoot the ball. Like, when you get to that classification of, like, when you talk about basketball players, you got different roles that you fill on the team. Like, and when you call someone a shooter, that's like a specialist position or specialist label. Like, you got to shoot the ball at a high level consistently to be considered a shooter in the NBA on that level on a year-to-year basis, You can get better and develop your 3-ball, which Pascal Siakam has done throughout his career.
Yeah, he has a 38.9% on the 3.
Yeah, no doubt. But if you're not over 40+ to me, you're not a shooter. Like,
damn.
That's normally around the standard.
He's 1% away. Get that man a flower.
I shot 37% from the 3 at most parts of my career.
That's
maybe
good.
A little bit higher, maybe a little low. I wouldn't consider myself a shooter, though. I can shoot the ball, yeah, but my primary, like, prototype as a player was I'm not a shooter. Like, I was and I would, not to give that comparison, but I would consider myself more like a Pascal Siakam type player, versatile, where you can do a bunch of different things on the floor. You can post up, you can play the mid-range, you can play the 3 balls. So for me, that's like that's what he is for that team. I wouldn't call him a shooter. But the shooters on that team is Neesmith. The shooters on that, right? So those to me are shooters.
And I just look at those bigs now, where you got to have a little bit of everything, versus where you know what I mean. You could just be a big back in the day, Ophie, and just stand down down low. And
this is true.
You gotta have good footwork. You gotta be able to go.
I agree with that.
At least have the defender double take. Like, maybe I should step out.
It helps.
You know what I'm saying?
But is it the winning formula right now? Is what I would.
That's why I'm saying the finals is going to decide.
It might decide that, but I think the NBA is just in a point now to where you going away from, and this is not me hot taking because everyone's been talking about it, you're going away from the super teams thing. You need 2 solid pieces, 2 people that are like an all-star, perennial all-star, or a borderline all-star, a person who's very good that can carry the load offensively for you throughout a season, and then you need other pieces around those 2 players that are going to make things work. You need defenders, you need 3-and-D guys, the shooters who are also defenders, and you need good bigs that can catch lobs and play defense and meet people at the rim. So
I think you also need a TJ McConnell type, a wiry,
depends. It depends.
Yeah?
It depends on who's on your roster. TJ McConnell works good for Indiana Pacers because Indiana's roster is what it is. I don't think TJ has that role on, other teams. Now, he has that role, but I don't think he has that much room and like runway for success.
I put him. I put Dante DiVincenzo, like a guy that's just like the overlooked guy that can somehow out of nowhere put your team in it to win it. Like,
I mean, no
there's
doubt.
like a bunch of like I wouldn't call them role players. I don't like that reference. I know that other guys drive the bus from Charles Barkley's reference. He was like, you use the one that's riding the bus. You're not driving it. And I'm like, nah, like these are guys that'll get out and start, if you get a flat tire, that will help you change the tire and put things together for the bus. They're not just riding it. They're like ensuring that you get to your destination. And I think of the guys like TJ, the guys like Dante. These are guys that Drew Holiday is one of those guys in my opinion too. He was like just a wiry little like run around, do to the defense, maybe score like out of nowhere 30 points one night. Like what happened? Where did he get? Those are the guys that are really gonna take your team.
TJ better be worried about Game 7 tonight. That's
okay, yo, you sound like you don't want them to win.
I don't really care who wins. I think it's gonna end up going the Thunder's way.
Oh,
but I mean, I don't really care who wins. I don't have a dog in the fight.
You want to put $1 up? Good old Eddie Murphy dollar bet.
We can put $1 up. I might hit FanDuel. I know.
Are you gonna do a FanDuel?
I gotta drive across the line, so we'll see.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Delaware don't be. You can do BetMGM over there at Delaware Park though. I think.
I don't want to have to drive in and do that shit. Like this, I want this shit on my phone. Like,
I think if you because way BetMGM. Matter of fact, we ain't giving them no shine.
That's a fact.
Not until they give us money. It was crazy because I got like a little a joint I gotta show you because at the Dear Summer joint some reason they was showing mad love and it was giving me a lot of perks and free stuff, but I ended up with the ball Tito's.
Who is that?
Tito's homemade vodka.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was.
Viewers can't see this, but you showed me Tito's in the
Tito. There's Tito's, and then there's like a bear mascot
with
and
the
all
above
that.
the rim jersey on.
Yeah. It was fire. They did that was the whole theme for the event, whatever. But anyway, I was trying to say I have a whole train of thought, but we ain't giving it no shine in these casinos and bettings until they support the podcast.
Game
fully.
7's tonight. We'll see what happens.
I got Pacers. You got OKC.
I got
dollar bet. Let's shake on it.
We'll see. By the time this is out, we'll have a winner determined. So we ain't gonna spend too much time speaking about the actual game because it'll be over by the time you hear this. And that's that. It's going a lot longer than I thought it would. I called Thunder in 6, and then it's 7.
Did.
So we'll see.
Game 7. Here it is. It's
We'll
the
see.
end. No matter what's the end.
I mean, it is the end of the NBA season, and we got to find some other shit to talk about.
WNBA's right around the corner, man. Let's do your thing.
I mean, it's here now.
I know. I'm
It's
just
here
saying,
now.
like you going about to roll to the playoffs soon. I don't know. They're going.
Caitlin Clark's still carrying the league, but we're gonna leave that conversation for another time, another place.
Oh man. I mean, speaking about carrying the teams, I know that your walk with me got some stuff in there, man. No good deeds go unpunished.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you the
man.
floor, man. I know you got a lot to get off your chest, so EFS family, we gotta have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? We gotta call some people to the carpet, man.
I mean, I'm gonna preface everything I'm about to say with I'm trying to handle this.
With tact,
I'm gonna preface everything I'm about to say, but it's been a real back and forth in my own spirit to even speak about this thing on my platform for people to come and view, listen to, et cetera, just because there's sensitive parts of it, sensitive to me personally, and I have real relationships with people from everything that we're about to speak about, So I want to handle this with as best as possible truth, but also sensitivity to a community that I've been a part of and been supported by, and have real relationships, and then just again have done a lot within my time.
Fair.
So that said, we also got to set the record straight on certain things, just because it's not cool.
Look,
Certain things aren't cool, and respect to everyone. I've been a person that has been all about peace and unity and coming along the ride as a community and trying to be the forefront of that and put myself in the best light with the people that I serve, because in my position as a trainer, I feel like it's always about being someone who serves others. Coach, trainer, whatever the hell you want to call me. Like, I don't exist as a person who can, make money, earn money by not having relationships with people who I serve, being of fitness, being in coaching, being in the mentoring of like it doesn't happen without being of service to others.
Facts.
So for me, that is always the number one understanding that I have about anything I do to make money or like monetize for myself. And that even goes into my new lane where I'm promoting my own brand, my own company, my own, my thing, that still remains at the forefront because I've always existed to be of service. Like, one of my core statements of EFS is that in vain you have acquired knowledge if you do not impart it to others, So that still sits at the core of my being and the core of everything that I do in life, whether it's for EFS or whether outside of that. And, not to put any names on it because I still want to be respectful of companies, brands, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But if you know me, you've seen my social media, you see everything I've done over the past years for a company that I've worked with and worked for and really dug deep into that community, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to just read a message that was sent to me personally to start to peel back the layers of some of the things that have been going on and some of the things that have occurred that, again, I've been personally affected by, but also other people that I know around me. And I will say that with accountability, I did invite some of this conversation to happen upon myself. I made a post the other day. For those of you who haven't seen, check my social media. It has been one of the most engaged posts that I've recently had in a new content creator space or whatever. And it drew a lot of opinions and a lot of back and forth. And some of those people that listen to this podcast, some of the people who know I have a podcast or whatever. So I'm going to speak about it here because this is the place where I often talk about things that happen in my life from a real perspective. And that's that. So made a post. It went crazy. People had some things to say about it. And then from there, the owner, someone I used to work for, someone I used to literally make money for, or maybe not so much money from his perspective. I don't know. I'm not digging in his pockets. I'm not looking in his pockets. But as we dive into it, we'll talk a little bit more. So I'm just going to read the post, not the post, the text. It was personally sent to me, and then we're going to dive in.
And while he pulls that up, let me just say the views of Waldo Black are not indicative of EFS Podcast, D. Burke, or EFS training in any capacity. They're mine and mine alone. So I'm whatever I say, come to me, come see me if you got a problem with it. But go ahead, please.
Hey man, here it is. Let's roll it out. It starts very funny, It starts very funny, and I'll go back and forth about the interaction, and I will, read my response to it, and then we'll go through the whole thing.
So for clarity's sake, this message you're reading is from your previous boss.
Yes. The person I used to work. When not boss, I would say the person who owns
the owner of the business that you used to work
studios of the company that I used to work for have recently transitioned away from.
Exactly.
If you know, you know.
And this is after or in response to your video
This is in response to my post coming across his timeline or someone sending it to him. I know someone sent it to him. Someone snitched because I know he's not even checking for anything that I do because he's not even on social media.
Mind you, there was nothing in your post that was directly speaking to anything related to him.
Actually, there was.
You said something to him?
I didn't say anything directly to him. I made reference of, what has gone on and occurred.
But you never I'm talking about to him as an individual.
Nah, not
Nothing
necessarily.
you said was about him.
Not necessarily.
That's
But
what I'm saying.
if the shoe fits, yes. Like,
A hit dog gonna holler.
if the shoe fits, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
So, if you know, you know, in this area, we've had studios close that I was personally involved in. Again, stood boots on the ground in for years and tried to connect with people. So, message goes, what up, bitch boy? Question mark. Heard you were throwing shots. I figured it takes a special piece of shit to lose his wife in 30 days, and boy, was I right. Keep that same energy up. I'm sure it will get you far in life. It's done wonders for you so far! Exclamation point.
Fucking clown.
My response. It's funny you think anything you just said has the potential to hurt my feelings. Bottom line is, I've known how you've operated for a long time now, and that's why I left. If I hurt your feelings, then so be it. Facts are facts. His response. No feelings hurt, brother. Just need to call bitch boy out when I see one. My response. Then please make sure you do the same when you look in the mirror.
Boom.
Lastly, yes, I will look in the mirror in a $5 million crib, and I'll remember how much of a bitch boy I am. Thank you, bro. End exchange. Because I didn't have time to go back and forth on that shit.
Clown.
So, post is out.
Nasty work.
The post I made is making reference to the fact that one of his studios closed, a studio that I was boots on the ground in, a studio that I managed for some amount of time. And this is also the third studio that I have had a role in at some point, a role in teaching, educating, leading, or just a integral role in being there to help things run at some point in my 6 years for the company that I worked for that I've recently transitioned away from. So, with the studio closing, I did make note of the studio closing and saying, hey, if you are looking for a place to work out, someone to work out with, then the door's open. You can come work with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm available. I'm an option.
That's fair.
Did I do it in a funny, entertaining way? Yes. People got a lot of laughs about it. I'm into promoting myself, my brand. I understand what engagement looks like. I understand that things, gravitate towards people in a certain way, and I leaned into it. So, yeah. So, for that, this was the response I got from my owner. Not my owner, because you don't own shit with me, bro. From the owner of the company that I used to work for.
Exactly.
So, with that said, there's the post, there's his response, and then the response of others on the post as well.
Oh yeah. We want to dive in that too? Or what?
So for me, this is a 2-part conversation. My response to the person that I took a shot at, which, yes, I did. I'll openly admit that, yes, I did. And we can get into why in a moment. And there's a response to the people who had whatever feelings about what I had to say or whatever way I depicted it and, whatever I did by making the post.
Now help me figure this out, because I'm on the outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did you do to him that rose to the level for him to call you out your name?
I called him a shitty owner. I said verbatim, shitty owners and bad business practices costing you your fitness. And then I said whatever about myself, like, come on over. I forget exactly what I said. But the first line was shitty owners and bad business practices costing you your fitness.
So even in that, you can say that was indirect.
It was an indirect shot, yes.
Yeah, there was nothing that unless he felt like he was a shitty owner. You know what I'm saying? If I called you something that you knew you wasn't, you wouldn't react, man.
I mean, it depends.
You're not that thing. You aren't gonna react.
It depends on the emotional maturity of the person you're dealing with too.
I agree with that.
It depends on that.
I feel like he knew he's a shitty owner.
I will say that this person is younger than me, so let's get that out the gate.
Yeah.
So maybe is not as far along in his emotional journey, and which I know he isn't, because there's a lot of things that I know about this individual, this person. But again, it's a 2-part conversation. So we'll address this part of it first, because this is the most, glaring part of the conversation currently that I'll open up for. Number 1, my story with the company. Retired in 2019, podcast. Y'all know that. Been there, done that. That story is written, refer to whatever episode. Retired from basketball in 2019, came home to this company as an opportunity to help me to grow and understand fitness training in a hands-on, real way as I was trying to grow my own personal brand.
Yep.
You know, so dove into it as that, with that clear and understanding of the person that hired me, who also knows the owner and has also separated from the owner. This is years ago, right? So coming to the company at that point, old as hell as a new trainer, mid-30s, when everyone around me is younger, you know, been in the game for a little bit longer and knew a little bit more about this whole training thing than I did. So came in, boots on the ground like I do with most things that I dive into in life. Let's go hard, let's figure it out, and let's see what opportunity lies there so that I can draw from and make myself better, sharper, whatever, with what I intend to get out of the situation.
Facts.
First year, 2019, well, within the first year of 2019, it didn't even make it to a year once I became a trainer / coach for the company and started to coach at multiple studios out the gate, 3 to be in fact. 3 studios out the gate, which is not really normal that quickly. Cool, I did that. Dove into it and made the most out of it. You know, rose up into higher levels from coach to a head coach to then regional head of fitness for the area in my time very quickly within 2 years, you know, which pat on the back to me, it goes to show the work ethic that I have and then also the impact that I was having with the people around me to then promote me to higher positions.
Facts.
While coming into it, not knowing much, again, fresh as a basketball player, coming home and not really understanding what working looks like here, was like, okay, this is cool. I'm making money off it. You know, it's like, all right, there's some things that I'm like, this is kind of funny style, but, you know, let's just go along with it. Maybe it's just how it is, you know? So as I got deeper and deeper into it, higher and higher into levels of position in the company to then the regional head of fitness, basically, it's me, and then it's the sales and operations manager, who I still have a pretty decent relationship with, has also left the company.
I see a trend.
So when you get to that level of upper management and you start to like dive into the how things run here and what's going on, because we have an operation to take care of. Studios have to be profitable. The turnover has to be very low with members. They got to stay engaged. They got to really be, you know, into the studios and, you know, making sure that we keep people in the doors.
Right.
It's just business. I understand that. You're only in business by having people that you serve, like where you are, you know, what you're offering. So dove into that full force. 2 years in, I'm the regional head of fitness. Got there quickly. And then I'm like, all right, so what happens now? Let me look at all the areas of what I can impact to make this whole thing a little bit better. Not really having much guidance on it because, you know, you gotta go through the paces and, you know, work through your shit to figure out how you lead. I lead by example, and I lead by having people gravitate towards each other in a brand, in a community that's supposed to be offering something. I also had the advantage of working at multiple studios in the community at that time to then really get a pulse on what's happening around the area. What do we need? Community engagement. What do we need? We need events. What do we need? We need coaches to be on a certain level, other trainers to be on a certain level so that people like being inside the door, because when I got here, the standard was very high. So then as the head person of that and everything under you is supposed to be like, this is your area to impact. This is what I dove into. Where are the trainers at? How are the coaches coaching? Outside of that, how do we bring people together so that they like being in the community?
Exactly.
Events that I spearheaded along with other people who are going to remain nameless at this point because I ain't trying to bring no smoke in nobody's ways and not asking for it. And again, I got real relationships with some of the people that are involved in all this shit. So with respect to that, spearheaded events, regional events where you bring people together for fitness competitions.
Fire too. It was enjoyable.
You've been there. You've seen it. Regional events to where we're bringing people together to have a good time together in different ways.
Yep.
The gala, we talked about it on here. Like, things like that. Same time, still trying to make the product good. quarterly workshops. We're all meeting together. We're all putting, our heads together and figuring out what we got to learn to make the product better, and did all that. All that realizing that the person running everything is doing a bunch of shit that's not good for the business, and having relationships with people in the company who have relationships with him to where they're having fallouts with him. And there are situations that I can't even really speak about because there's legal implications and all that shit going on with some of the people tied up in this stuff.
Right.
While they're still exposing me to like, yo, this is who we work for. This is the guy. Illegalities, lack of investment personally in his own company, and making sure that everything's going on right, especially post-pandemic. Because after the pandemic and we reopened, things were shaky, and a lot of businesses suffered at that point.
Yeah.
So as a business owner, I can understand things changing there. But in this space, it's about serving people. So if you're not doing it up to a certain level or standard, like it's going to start to suffer and trickle down across the whole region,
And it did.
And it did for some time. All the while, me being as close to the top of it as I can and seeing everything to where like, this shit is fucked up.
And you've advocated many a time. I mean,
personally, I know some of the stories. So we're not going to sit here and dive into all of it. Some of it maybe in a moment, but I've done my best to stand in leadership, but also differentiate myself from like, oh, he's that close to the owner and we don't have this, we don't have that, we don't have this, we don't have that. It sucks working here. Personally seen it and had conversations with people about that.
I mean, when the last time he showed up to any of the places that
nobody knows you at the place you own.
That makes
and
no
I
sense.
understand there are silent owners and people that just, I'm going to put up the money, I'm going to get everything running, and y'all go do everything. I don't want to have to think about it. That only works when everything's in place for the people that you are hiring to run everything. If not, it doesn't fucking work.
Exactly.
We have studios who don't have a vacuum, and we can't order a new one. I personally had to take my own money out of my own pocket to help things run at the studio just because we weren't getting it from the person that runs everything and is responsible for these kind of things.
Right.
And again, we're not going to get into the illegalities of all of it because there are a lot of gross illegalities that, legal shit. I'm going to just leave it there.
Yep.
So,
but even in all that, and in everything you said, you got receipts. I know that. But what I'm saying is, at what point, as a businessman, as a man, do you talk about your relationship with your ex-wife?
Because that's the only thing he knows about me that he feels can hurt me.
But doesn't make sense.
One of your hardest working employees over the past 6 years. You don't know shit about me, but the fact I got divorced, and that's because I told you that I did. In the middle of me busting my ass to work for you when things weren't the best.
That's tactless, man.
One manager left, and Dwight, you step up. This is your studio now, as well as the one that you already manage. Here's another studio. We're going to dump this on your lap. You're the regional. Somebody's got to do it. You got to do it. Okay, another manager left. Here, you go step up for this studio now, and somebody has to do it. You're the regional. With less and less support the whole time.
Nah. You don't see, but to me, I don't and then when you bring in and you speak about people's relationships and things like that, that to me, it tells me everything I need to know about you.
It was a weak move. And yeah, I took a shot at you, but my shot came from facts.
But to me, I don't think you took a shot at him. To me, you took a shot at his business acumen, which is you got the receipts for.
This is true, but when you say shitty, it can be received a certain way by people.
That's fair.
And I'm not conscious. I'm mindful enough to understand what I said and how it can be received, but we also got to speak in truth and speak in fact. Yeah. And what is fact is you are a shitty business owner per the standards of what your company needs to run. No one sees you ever.
Yep.
The people that get the closest to you, who are at the top, run because they get into some kind of financial back and forth with you, or they see what the scenario is and back the fuck away because they can't do it. I've seen it for years now. And I've been right in the forefront of, I got to deal with this piece of shit and then go stand in front of real people to be of service to them.
Right.
You know? So from my side of it, it's literally just, you're bad at owning the business. Maybe this business only, hey, it is what it is. Maybe your other businesses are flourishing, and that's cool too. But when you're bad at this one and you take people's livelihood, people's, a community that people actually care about, and just put it to the wayside, then people are going to start to feel away.
Yeah.
I've had to stand in front of people and ask why, and have them ask me why we don't have this at the studio, and make up an answer on the fly just because it's like, okay, like I got to tell them something, and I don't want to expose too much about what we actually have to deal with on this level. I've had to have conversations with employees who are personally victimized by some of the practices that you have in your business and how it affects them.
Yep.
I've had employees leave under my watch because they understand what they're actually dealing with and they choose to separate themselves from it before like it gets too deep.
Exactly.
All the while, me going through my own personal life shit while working for your company.
That he gets
my divorce that
he gets thrown in your face.
You want to speak of?
Yeah.
One of the main reasons or major reasons that became a divorced man was because I dove so much into working for you and your company, which is maybe my own personal flaw. I own that. I'm a workhorse. That it caused strain on my relationship to then we ended up separating. At this point, life is life. Me and my baby mom is good. Everything's cool, bro. So if you think that can hurt me even more so, you don't know shit.
Facts.
Because again, you don't know anything about me. So for you to tell me it's going to get me far in life, you don't know how far I've been in life to then say that I'm lacking something.
Exactly.
Because you think money and financial success means something to say that your core of who you are as a being or a person or individual isn't the main thing.
Yep. My $5 million house.
And yeah, right. And
I'll
call
be
me
looking in the
call me
mirror.
what you want, bro.
My $5 million
Bitch boy
crib.
sounds very funny. I get it. My feelings don't really get hurt by words, bro. They don't. They really don't.
Clown, man.
They don't.
But you know
the
what's
part
funny
that's
is-
the most egregious to me is how you think your $5 million house means something to real people who ain't got that kind of money.
Bruh.
Like, to me, that's the part of it that was like, this is who we really dealing with.
And that's what he values, though.
Right.
And I think a lot of people will be on a hamster wheel chasing money because they don't have anything that's really sustainable in their life that gives them fulfillment.
And chase your money, because that's cool too. Because I'm in that
Hamster
game now,
wheel,
and I
hamster
understand that. Get your money, but when you deal with real people in a way that you are of service, money only really goes so far, and money definitely doesn't go too far when it comes to respect as a man for me. Like, I know personal things about you, bro, that you don't even know that I know.
We ain't gonna go there.
I'm not gonna go there.
I'm not gonna go there.
I know personal things about you that you don't really know that I know.
Yeah.
I know about the court cases that you have, bro.
Hey,
I know about.
Let's not teeter on that line.
know, like I'm not opening up for that. But when you make personal attacks at me, the relationship with people that are close to me, my baby mom is close to me, even though we're divorced. She's the mother of my child.
Come on.
So
play with somebody else, man. Don't play over here.
You know? So for me, call me a bitch boy. I'm cool with that, bro. I've been called worse by better.
I'm not cool with it. Like, don't like, we can go that direction if you really want to go that direction.
Truth is truth.
I'll let the Harlem come out of me
Truth
real
is
quick
truth.
for us. If you really want to go that direction.
Truth is truth.
It's cool, man. Like, a lot of these cats be internet thugs, man. They get on, they tweet and text and all that. They would never step if it came down to it in person.
And it's cool.
And it would never
gotta
go.
be
I
a
know.
physical
I'm
situation.
just
Like,
saying.
it's not that for me, but it's about truth and it's about speaking from the perspective of right versus wrong here, you know.
Facts.
And I've seen so much wrong, and I've seen people's lives be affected by it while being at the head of the ship as the face of fitness for this whole region.
But what'd you do? You made a freaking Bruno Mars like funny video, and now that's enough to make somebody get
and that's
in
the
their
other
feelings?
that's the other side of the conversation too, you know, because him being in his feelings is one thing, but then the other side of it is the people that work there still
and don't have any clue.
Dogpiling me because I'm promoting my business, my brand, as someone who got the fuck away from a toxic work environment.
Facts.
So for all the people who had a bunch of shit to say in the comments, I had a lot more silent support from people in my DMs saying, congratulations, I'm glad you got the fuck out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you got the fuck out of there.
Oh, their eyes gonna be opening. Their eyes gonna be open in a second when they hear this video.
One more read that I'll give you from a former employee that I had a lot of respect for in their time with the company. This is her personal message to me off of the post that I made and her seeing the backlash and all the other shit, the back and forth. OTF DE was a shit show when I left in 2019. I cannot imagine how bad it's gotten since then. Congrats on your new space and endeavors. Unprompted. I haven't spoken to this woman in years.
Come on.
In years. And again, had a lot of respect for her from the reputation that she had with the company when I first got here, because it's like, oh shit, she's dope at what she does and people fuck with her, people gravitate to her.
And again, we're not speaking to...
I go further. I said it's gotten worse.
Yeah.
Of course. I know I work in corporate 9 to 5 now, but space we just mentioned was my last fitness job after 10 years of the business in NYC. The way they ran things was literally appalling. I'm so glad you got out. I hope you and your family have an awesome weekend, blah, 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 whatever. And then spoke about the people in the comments saying, hit dogs holler, more or less.
Exactly.
In short form.
Where there's smoke, there's fire, man.
So this is, again, another former employee. And there's other messages in my DM of support from people who didn't want to get all messy in the comments and all that shit, which I chose to bow out of once I feel like it was getting a little too far. It wasn't for that. So again, conversation with this guy and then the conversation to the others, to me, is 2-part. And keeping it as respectful as I can and keeping it as calm and not trying to tear people down as I can. But we gonna set the record straight here. I came home as an ex-basketball player, dove into a company, and worked my way up the ladder very fucking quickly because I work a lot harder and committed myself to this thing more than a lot of y'all did. And that's just facts. To a detriment to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had conversations with other coaches, trainers in that space to say, hey man, step off a little bit. Take your foot off the gas pedal because you still need to have a personal life. You still need to be able to manage your family. You still need to be able to manage this. Yeah. Like, I've had people look at me differently for how hard I went for the role that I was in.
Yeah.
Just because all I knew how to do at that point was really work, to the detriment of other parts of my life.
I can say I'm a witness, whether it's the dry tries, the galas, the meetings, the late night stepping in when people call out.
Me and a few other people who are along for the ride and the mission to help execute things that nobody else was doing at that time.
Come on. I understand.
Am I patting myself on the back for it? No.
No, you should,
because I never was looking for the recognition.
I know that.
My aim was to create community and a space where people would enjoy.
And you did.
Where they like to spend their fitness hours.
And you did.
Or the people that, they meet there, because you have friends there, you have relationships there, you got this and that there, that's like, it is a community, or so I thought.
But see, the flowers they gave you when you announced you're leaving, that was there. That was a genuine.
That's the real of it.
That's the real.
That's the real of it.
At the same time, right? When you go out and do something that is counter to their quote unquote culture or whatever their idea of culture is, it is, even without knowing the full scope of the story, they put themselves against you.
And that's why you can't talk to me.
Right.
That's why you're not qualified to speak on certain things, because you have no scope or perspective of what it is to live the life that I have and walk in the shoes that I have in this space for that long. You can't. Nobody saw when I was working 7 days a week with no end in sight, post-divorce, as a newly single father trying to manage work-life balance and
I seen it.
No benefits.
We had to watch the baby girl a couple times and figure out how we was going to make it work.
My family helped.
Come on, man.
Friends helped. Those are the people that held me down as I grinded myself into the ground for a shitty owner. So when I decide to step away to protect myself, my peace, my health, and these kind of things to then prioritize my own brand, which was always my end goal. EFS has been the thing for me forever.
Since before you retired.
I took 5 to 6 years of my life to devote to something else because I connect with people and I feel for people. And I actually bought into something that I thought was a real thing.
Mm-hmm. It might still be, but just not with that owner.
It is for the people.
Yeah.
The people aspect is cool, but when I have people that I've tried to connect with, bring community together, engage, and to support, then kick my back in because I'm promoting my business as an option for people that know me as a familiar face to then say that, hey, I'm here too. I stood in front of y'all for years as your coach, your trainer, the person who is your fitness guru, whatever you want to call it. Like, that was me across the state. And going back to the 7 days a week thing, when I was asking some of y'all for help, begging people to help cover my classes so I could have time because I literally could not go on in that same way, a lot of y'all people was fucking crickets.
Mm-hmm.
And this is while coaching sometimes the upwards of 35 to 40 hours a week of just on your feet in front of people, managing clients and running classes, not to mention the admin hours. Not to mention every quarter's coming around. It's like, okay, well, we're getting a little bit closer to when we did this event the last time, so we got to do it again. Let's plan a whole big fucking party for everyone so they can come together and have a great time. Not to mention, oh, we like when you did that regional dry try thing. Let's do another one. Let's add a trophy to it this time. Let's make it this. Taking feedback from people about what you guys like so that I can create community and do things to bring everyone together, as well as staff, not just for the members, because I believed in culture and what we all could achieve underneath the orange lights.
No certificate, no pin. Instead, your owner calls you a bitch boy. To me, that's nasty work.
And that's the part of it to me that the people who are in the comments talking shit don't understand. They don't have that perspective. So for me, it's literally set the record straight. Again, no one is qualified to speak on that more than me in this space.
Right. So here's my question now. With that being said.
Hold up. If you was a part-time person who just came in and coached your classes when you wanted to or whenever they was convenient for you, you can't speak to me. If you were not a person who was boots on the ground, again, in upper management to where you really see how things are run, you can't speak to me. If you're a person that came to some of the events and saw everything that was put together and enjoyed it for your members, but secretly in the back of your mind never really fucked with me or liked me in the first place, you can't talk to me because I know who y'all are. I have my finger on the pulse of this shit for a long time and I understand what's what. And again, that's why I got the fuck out. These people can't see or understand that I'm just different than what they may be used to.
Right.
And I know where it comes from because I've seen it happen my whole life where people just think I'm arrogant or like just because I'm a basketball player or ex-basketball player that it means that I'm better than anyone. That I don't carry that. I never have. But the people who don't know me and see my persona, see the way I move and want to equate that to, oh, he's this, you don't know shit about me. You don't know shit about me. I've heard the rumblings in my time as the regional head of fitness of, oh, Dwight didn't do this, Dwight thinks he's this, that, whatever. Like, I heard it, and I know who it came from. So I'm not stupid enough to think that this is just blindsiding me. So when those people started making comments, if the shoe fits, then wear it, Cinderella. I understand what I'm looking at here. I understand who I'm dealing with, you know?
I was gonna say, after all of this, right? I mean, you let out a lot, you shared a lot, you showed receipts, and you called out key individuals in this situation. Is there something that you need to get off your chest now and going forward with this, with regards to this whole situation?
This is the only time I'm addressing this shit on my platform, and that's it. So whoever listens to it, whoever hears it, whoever comes across this shit, am I going to put it out? Yes, I am, because it's just real to me. Like, these people don't understand. I cried tears during my last day at the company because I didn't know how else to feel but, like, an emotional overwhelm of, like,
Yeah.
my last message to the people was change is hard on my last day when I stood in front of people with tears coming down my face because I've invested so much into this and saw so much happen in my own personal life from this journey that I've been on to then now separate myself to create something for me where I have control. I go about things in a specific way and I can stand in my own integrity as a person and run business the way I want to run business.
Facts.
So if I'm a demon for promoting my business to people that know me, have seen me, I have rapport with, and know that whatever you're looking at here isn't the best situation because the person that's running everything does not give a fuck about it, come see me. I'm here for you. I'm not here just to make a buck. Yes, I like the money. It makes the world go round. As an entrepreneur, you have to capitalize on opportunities. Everyone who owns a business talks about it.
Yeah.
It happens on the lowest levels to the highest levels. You capitalize on your reach for your business no matter what the fuck happens around you. Earn Your Leisure. The one thing that stood out to me the most that Rashad from Earn Your Leisure, he talks about, he said, as a business owner, you have to look at everything as an opportunity.
Right.
If I walk past the store and I see there's no vending machine space right here, there's a bunch of traffic, there's a bunch of people that come here, maybe if I put a vending machine here, I can, make a little bit more money,
Exactly.
put it into my business to reinvest, grow my brand, like everything is an opportunity.
Facts.
And it's even more of an opportunity when you know how shitty it's been because you've been inside of a toxic environment for so long. And those who think the whole community is that strong, the community is really only that strong off the work of a lot of the things that I've done, sweat, blood, and tears, putting into it. Yes, there's a great workout fitness side of it. There's a great culture. There's a great brand. They've done a great job of promoting that thing to be one of the premier brands in fitness across the world. But that shit doesn't happen like that everywhere. I've had people from Hawaii, people from Nebraska, people from Miami, people from New York who saw what I've done in that space and say, damn, we ain't doing that out here. How can we implement some of that shit that you're doing?
Come on now.
I've had people from the corporate office look at what I'm doing and say, hey, let me run this up the chain. Let me see if I can get this to somebody else and get you out here to talk about, how you run things, because we love for you to pick your brain and see, how we can push that out to a few more places to see if we can create more engagement with the brand. This is not to pat myself on the back. This is blood, sweat, and tears and
Speaking truth.
impact. Impact. So for people to then demonize me because I choose to separate from something that I said is not really what it looks like, and I can't invest my time into that the same way I did anymore. I realized it was time for me to go when I was asked to buy the studio that they just closed, the one that sparked this whole bullshit with the post months ago. And I'm not going to get on all the details of that because it's very fucking shady. And if you want to know why the studio really closed, it's very fucking shady. And I know it personally. I was asked to buy the studio. I was already thinking about being on the way out, but that was the final straw for me that said, dude, you got to get the fuck out of here. Shit's nuts. Shit's crazy. And I got real people that I'm connected with that still work there. So again, I'm handling this as kid gloves as I can.
Much tact, yeah. Much tact as you can, man.
But when it comes to my resume, It's not to pat myself on the back, but let's set the record straight about who you're dealing with in this space.
Mm-hmm.
So with anyone who has anything to say, unless you've done that, you can't talk to me. You don't understand me. You don't get how someone can be this confident in himself and his ability, carry myself the way I can, and still genuinely care about people. You didn't understand that. You've never seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like this or this to you is no mesh of both. Like, and I've dealt with it my whole life on one level or another.
Right.
And it's just a stigma of being a high-level athlete that steps into a place where people who are not that, and then from there, they feel like they put you in a box as this.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
One archetype when you can be multifaceted and multi-talented and multi-capable.
And it's cool if they don't understand that because I'm not for everybody. EFS is not for everybody. I just dubbed one of my clients last week. I can't work with you anymore. Sorry. So your money, your hard-earned money that you're paying me, I'm not going to take it because you don't stand for certain levels of principles that I have, which is what I want to represent with how I serve people.
Exactly.
This is me. And again, we ain't patting ourselves on the back, but we setting the record straight here for anyone that got some shit to say about my character, my level of accountability, and this is that, whatever. Like I'm accountable for studios closing from a shitty owner.
Like that's under your control. Like that has something to do with you. Like you didn't put the time and the effort and the work in. Like days and days and nights and nights.
Come on, man.
Like, and it's sad because people will see one aspect and then create an entire narrative or an entire perspective off of one aspect. And I think that so many times they don't ask the deeper questions like, I wonder why this has gotten to this point. What are the steps? What are the pieces that were laid to get to this level? They just see, oh, that person did that. And it reminds me of sometimes these viral videos we see where someone is yelling, oh, they hit me. But what did you do to get hit? Or what did you do to do these things in order to cause that person to do that? And 9 times out of 10, they antagonize, they push, they bully, and then the reaction is like, I'm holding that person accountable for all the things they did. I done told them to get away from me. I done told them to give me space. I done told them, and now I finally let off, and now they want to play victim. No.
And I ain't even let off either.
I know.
This is the next thing, because y'all coming at me in the comments, I spoke nothing about y'all.
Facts.
To me, y'all are just trying to do the best you can within a shitty situation.
But they don't have the context.
They
don't have
no
they're
context.
ignorant to the situation.
They have no perspective.
Yeah.
And they yelling up. Like, if
With
we
a
just
lot of
keeping
vigor,
it,
with
they
a lot
just
of
keeping
energy.
it funky, you're yelling up. I'm out of it now, so it is what it is. But you yelling up at somebody who used to be quote unquote over you. And as a person who's been in that company and space, asked people about me, how I operate. I said, you don't work for me, I work with you.
Exactly.
And this is the conversations I had with people face to face who've been under my tutelage. Oh, are you the boss? No, I'm not the boss. We work together to create this environment. I may have been here longer, whatever. Like, I don't like that term, boss. You know, unless it's me being my own boss, which is in the space that I'm in now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm about collaboration, I'm about unity, and I'm about people first.
That's fair.
So when it gets outside of that, to me, then we got to really focus on what the fuck is actually going on here. And if it don't match my morals, my values, to where I can't even come in and do my job without feeling the weight of everything that is not right, then I got to distance myself from it and focus on what's best for me, which is my company, my brand, and promoting myself to the highest level, because that is the only way I'm going to fucking grow. So if that makes me a bad person, you don't understand business. You never tried to run a business or on this level, or if you did try, I may not know. So I don't know. But either way, you don't understand where I'm going with, and we not for you.
Facts.
And that's everybody. EFS is not for everybody. So if you don't agree with it, move the fuck along. It's no, I don't got to down you. I don't have to shit on you. I don't have to like really try to tear you off of whatever pedestal that you think you're on, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not operating from that space. I'm promoting my brand, my business, and everything going forward for me is EFS.
Here for self-starters and those willing to make the most out of any situation.
That part.
Come on.
Facts. And again, I went back and forth about if I was going to speak on this shit on here. It's going to go out. So it is what it is. I said what I said, and that's that. Separate yourself from it if you don't agree.
Mm-hmm.
If you are down to collaborate in any kind of way, I'm all for that too. Because again, I'm about people. But I'm not about the snake shit. I'm not about the sneaky shit. And I know who y'all were that haven't fucked with me for a long time. Like, I am. Shouts to the people that support me in all of this stuff, because it was some great support and people stepping up for me in that moment. And I appreciate that. And I've had those conversations with those people to tell them that I'm not looking for help when I'm getting jumped. Like that. I'm not looking for help when I'm getting jumped, but I appreciate you stepping in, because I opened myself up to it. So it is what it is. I live with whatever comes from it. Yeah, but the silent support for me was the most encouraging part of it. Because those are the DMs that I read that let me know I'm in the right space.
Mm-hmm.
And even the people that are saying like, bro, I'm just looking out for you, whatever you did can be perceived this way. Cool, I understand it.
Right.
I'm a grown man. I put it out, and I will deal with whatever comes from it.
You stand by it, though.
But I stand in truth, and I walk with God. So at the end of the day,
now. Praise him.
Ain't shit that y'all can do or say to me that is going to make me feel like I'm in the wrong when I know what my heart and my intentions are, and that's just that. So again, if you can't understand it, it's cool. It's all right. I have no malice in my heart towards anyone, even the person that called me a bitch boy, but I'm just going to call it what it is. We'll see how the rest of it turns out going forward, but to me, it's EFS, and that's that.
Well, that was Walk With Me segment. Appreciate EFS family for, allowing us to get into that a little bit. I know it was a lot of emotion related to that, but I think it needed to come out. I think it needed to be shared, and I'm glad you got it off your chest.
It did, because it's been a long time. And I try to separate, compartmentalize my life, because there's intersecting factors, but I try to remain as professional as I can in a lot of different ways,
Yeah.
So for the people that think I'm unprofessional, because that was part of it too, like, there's being professional, but there's also right or wrong. And when professionalism comes more than doing the right thing for real people, then we in a fucked up space.
Yeah.
We in a fucked up space. That's how the wheel never turns. That's how the wheel that they talk about never gets broken, because it just goes along and everyone says, all right, well, you got to operate with this like level of professionalism and just go along and whatever, because if you say this, you say that, then you could be looked at, and word goes around and like, okay, I work for myself now.
Right.
And again, no one's more qualified to speak on it in that space for that role than I was, because I saw it firsthand.
Yep. Did you have a quote in terms of
quote come from me today, man? It do.
Something from the muscle.
It do. I just posted it. If you saw it, then cool. If not, then whoever this goes out to, definitely understand it, because it's real shit.
Uh-oh. I'm ready for this one.
It's real shit. I'm trying to remember how I said it so I don't fuck it up. Quote for the day is a D. Burkeism, and it just says, beware of those who line up to tear you down. Well, backtrack. The quote for the day is a D. Burkeism, and it says, beware of those who line up first to tear you down. They secretly were waiting for the opportunity all along. So one more time, beware of those who line up first to tear you down. They secretly were waiting for the opportunity all along.
Wow.
So let that sink in on the way out. That's all I got for it today.
Amen.
I'm all right. I'm good. As I said, I walk with God. And in this situation, I stand in truth. And that's what I got to go with, So as always, as we close this thing out, we want to tell you to be safe. Guard yourself mentally, spiritually, physically, and all things in between. And with that said, episode 60 will close out. Peace.
Appreciate y'all, EFS family. We out, baby.